At a robotics expo in China, a curious visitor walked up to a female humanoid robot and gently tapped its metal shoulder. To his shock, the robot swiftly spun around, elbowed him, and glared intensely. Online commenters were quick to voice their disappointment, pointing out that it was actually played by a real person, specifically a man. People also criticized its emotional reactions and aggression, arguing it was hard to view this as genuine progress in robotics, especially when it failed to convincingly portray a lifelike machine. Let's check out this female beauty. One user joked, "Now this is what you call high profile. Does it look curvier than Tesla's bot?" I won't debate which is more advanced, but Tesla definitely doesn't put robots in high heels. Some might doubt if it's real or not. No need to wonder, it is a real person, and a man at that. The design was deliberate, featuring a neckline that visually elongated the neck and hid the Adam's apple. If China truly had such realistic robots, why did the Chinese New Year Gala rely on comedic ones? Now let's watch some recent clips of Chinese robots taking spills and crashing. One user wrote, "My stomach hurts from laughing. If these are remote controlled, why can't the operator stop them?" Another added, "How can I trust them? They can't even handle basic safety when they fall. They look like dead fish flopping around." After seeing the video, one commenter admitted that while they didn't know why the first robot fell, it did so with flair and personality. Another noted that these bots seemed blind to steps or obstacles. They tried to adjust their balance to stay upright, but once they slipped, recovery was impossible.
One robot doing martial arts moves got overly excited and kicked toward a foreign spectator. A staff member had to jump in quickly to stop it. One commenter said the robot's movements were too rigidly programmed, meaning it wouldn't stop until the action sequence was fully complete. Another added, "This was definitely the wrong command."
The punching routine couldn't be halted, so they had to physically grab it. The embarrassing part? The remote control was totally exposed. Another robot practicing dance moves suddenly malfunctioned, collapsing and convulsing like it was shocked before freezing in a weird pose. Commenters couldn't help but laugh, with one asking, "Has any progress been made on obstacle avoidance?" However, another pointed out one impressive feature. It could be powered off remotely, which they saw as a major leap for Chinese robotics. One user called it the shyest robot they'd ever seen. It would get sick and fall whenever crowds gathered, taking tiny stuttering steps not in the program. Another humorously said, "It's imitating a patient, not malfunctioning." It can mimic a normal person. Our robotics tech is world-leading, way ahead. We've won gold medals for years at international humanoid competitions, no doubt about it. This is my favorite bot. It has made great contributions to treating stroke patients in China. I can't make this up anymore. You take it from here. A newly unveiled robot, Terracotta Warrior, also went viral. Commenters admired its facial expressions, wondering why the designer chose that face and what it was meant to convey. One user wrote, "They wished all Chinese robots were like this one." It didn't matter if its head cracked or battery died. What mattered was it never admitted defeat. They joked this attitude resembled the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, always refusing to admit mistakes. Recently, the robotics industry was exposed for staging deceptive demos. Several companies used puppetry-like setups, disguising manual control as autonomous AI to mislead investors. Industry insiders revealed some teams built simple mechanical arms using aluminum profiles. While most actions were controlled manually backstage, they still claimed the robots had fully autonomous sorting capabilities. On the software side, they used open-source recognition models and overlay detection boxes to look like advanced multimodal systems, exploiting the lack of transparency and investors' FOMO to build hype. This video explained that a robot here lacked autonomous decision-making. Its operator held a remote controller behind their back. Today's humanoid robots are mostly remote-controlled, but manufacturers deliberately hide this, creating the illusion of independent awareness. A commenter noted the main issue wasn't the remote control itself, but the sneaky way people try to hide it, acting as if everyone else were stupid. The commenter said he'd rather see open control than deceptive pretense. So, what is the real level of Chinese robotics? Let's check out the world's first humanoid robot competition recently held in China and invite the bots to the stage. What do you think after watching this robot dance? The robot, carefully controlled by an operator, wasn't following an autonomous program. It wasn't wireless or even wired control. Instead, it was manually guided by someone pulling its neck from behind. It was also oblivious to its foot being tangled in a power cord and kept dancing non-stop. The operator seemed to want to halt it, but the robot kept moving as if deaf. Some commenters jokingly gave it a voice, "Don't stop me." In the end, the operator had to cut the power. Maybe feeling sorry for it, staff powered it back up to finish the dance. But after rebooting, the robot seemed confused, as if it forgot everything. It tried to get up, but fell again, twitching like it was shocked. The operator frantically pressed the remote, but it didn't work. One commenter noted this robot is truly human-like. It requires manual handling. There were also wireless bots attempting tougher tasks, like climbing stairs, but that didn't go well either. The robot managed just one step down before falling, its head flying off in the process. In the free fight arena, one robot approached a staff member from behind, only to be shoved away. To everyone's surprise, the robot then punched the staff member from behind before getting kicked away. Commenters reacted with many joking that the bot must have been remotely controlled by someone holding a grudge. Another user suggested the next big trend might be robot maintenance or screen protectors. Next up is a more agile robot. After doing a spinning kick, it tripped over an inflatable sandbag. Staff seemed to send various signals to the operator, but the robot only twitched briefly before going still. Then came the obstacle race. One robot, controlled by staff, completed several uphill runs. But at a simple platform, it stopped and fell off after just a few steps. With the operator's help, it returned to the platform and finished the course. This robot was dubbed the day's best performer. One commenter pointed out that no matter how impressive, it was still manually controlled, questioning the point of such contests. The most exciting event was the 100-meter race. The robot in lane 3 performed well, looking the most human-like and fastest. However, just as it was drawing attention, the robot veered off course and ran toward the sidelines. After pausing for a few seconds, it resumed running, only to veer in the opposite direction. Luckily, the finish line was near. It finally crossed, taking first place. Unfortunately, the lane 2 robot had fallen and was doing strange movements. Commenters wondered why the post-fall movements weren't more graceful or why it couldn't just stay still. Another robot suddenly struck a martial arts pose, scaring nearby staff who fled, likely remembering past struggles. Then, while dancing, the robot did a simple turn, but its hat flew off. It then began thrashing on the ground. Staff had no choice but to shut it down.
A robot wearing a green hat charged toward its owner, who backed away in fear, using a shoe to fend it off. Fortunately, the robot crashed into a pole, causing no harm. One commenter sarcastically suggested supporting domestic robots, as people are increasingly tired and uninspired, needing external motivation. They joked, if your house isn't chaotic enough, get one of these to stir things up.
Another race started with a tall black robot running fast. It ignored the shorter bot ahead and collided, sending both crashing down. A commenter speculated the operators were lazy, not following close enough, or the distance was too great, causing the remote to fail. Another joked the operators must have poor vision and couldn't react fast enough. They implied they weren't very good at video games either. Earlier, a Chinese platform showcased a robot slicing noodles, which was exciting to watch. This time, we saw a real-life robot in action, but the first thing it did was push an entire batch of noodles into the pot. One commenter said, "Next time, if it can just push the tray into the pot and leave the dough in its hands, I'll definitely buy one." As for practical use, China's military and police stability systems have high hopes for domestic bots. Recently, a video on an overseas platform showed a special ops robot from Zhenggu Huayan struggling on the streets. It needed 3 officers to help it down the stairs. Even with help, the robot couldn't walk down by itself. It took all 3 people to guide it to the ground. Commenters criticized the stunt, asking, "What's the point of such a low-quality display? This robot moving like an elderly person isn't even effective at scaring the public." Another pointed out the goal had been achieved. Look at those so-called special police officers. They're wearing uniforms clearly copied from the Hong Kong police, but the CCP has already destroyed what was once the world's best police force, and now they're copying the uniforms. That's the most disturbing part. The CCP's goal is to disgust people, and it's done just that. There have also been several dangerous incidents. In May, a robot suddenly went into a frenzy, swinging its arms wildly, creating a terrifying scene. The operator quickly ran to avoid it. In a video, 2 men used a rope to suspend a black robot by its shoulder, attaching it to a hook. Then they operated a computer, likely sending commands. After a few seconds, the robot's limbs began to move. But within moments, the robot lost control. Its arms flailed as if trying to strike someone, while its legs kicked uncontrollably. The computer screen was knocked over, and nearby chairs were struck. Items from one chair went flying, and the stand almost tipped over. The 2 men panicked and fled. One returned to grab the stand, stopping the rampage. Commenters were alarmed, saying, "That's so scary. It looked like it was going to hit someone." Humanoid robots. So many companies are faking it on a large scale. I just saw a lot of news like this. Some companies use joysticks to control robots, misleading investors. Guys, let me share my thoughts too. When they were hyping these bots, they pushed stocks sky high. Every company was praised as if they were out of this world. After driving prices up, retail investors were left with the bill. Now the truth is out and it's all falling apart. Who pays the price? The retail investors. Is this how business is done? Another commenter said, "Chinese robots are all for show." Every time they appear, it's a grand spectacle with flashy lights like a sci-fi movie. Year after year, they're just for display, never making it into factories or homes. The truth is, China's robotics focus is purely on showy videos. In contrast, Tesla's robots may look awkward, but their purpose is clear: to work on production lines. They aren't for display, they're for use. Tesla designs for practicality, while China focuses on performance and buzz without real productivity.